What's up guys, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a classic homemade chicken stock. Now this is something you can use in all sorts of recipes and I have nothing against store-bought stock. Trust me, I use it all the time. But if you do have an extra day on the weekend, it's cold outside, you're sitting around doing nothing, throw this on the stove and your house not only will smell great, but this stuff tastes 1,000 times better than what you're gonna find at the store. It's very simple. All it takes is throwing a few things in a pot and just letting it simmer pretty much all day. You don't even have to do much with it. So let's go over the ingredients. So you're obviously gonna need a chicken. Now I'm using a whole chicken. This is a 5-pound chicken, but it's up to you. You can either just use the legs and the wings, but make sure if you are gonna use a whole chicken, you use high quality. So I'm using an Amish, it's not an Amish chicken, but it's from the Amish market, so it has no hormones or anything like that. So it's pure chicken, that's it. It just makes for a better stock. You're also gonna need some onions, carrots, garlic, and some celery. And I like to leave the leaves on it because I feel like it makes a difference in the flavor. I could be wrong, but that's just me. You're also gonna need some salt and pepper, and of course a big old pot to put it in. And if you wanna store it for later, like in the freezer, these little containers are very convenient and it works out. So this is really simple to do, so all we're gonna do is go over to the stove and get it started.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Let's get it started and high. No, see, this is why I don't sing, because I stink at it. So before you start anything, you want to make sure that you take anything out that's inside the chicken. A lot of times they'll put any of the internal organs in a small bag, like the neck and stuff. And you can use this, just don't use the liver, but you can use everything else in the stock, but I just don't. I don't know, it just freaks me out. So what we're gonna do is before we put any vegetables in, I'm gonna lift the baby up and put it right in the pot. And we're going to fill this pot up to cover the chicken with cold water. And the reason it's cold water is because as we're bringing it up to a boil, I want everything to be evenly boiling. So if you start with hot water, everything's kind of cooking unevenly. So now you want to go ahead and turn the heat on high, and we're going to allow this to come up to a boil. As soon as it comes up to a boil, you want to immediately turn the heat down. And the reason being is because a lot of scum is going to rise to the top and we're going to skim that off. If it was to be boiling, all of that scum is just going to emulsify in your stock and your stock will be cloudy. It'll taste oily. It just will not be that great of a stock. So bring it to a boil and then immediately turn it down to about medium low. And I'll show you what it looks like when you're, skimming the gook off the top. So in the meantime, you can start chopping up your vegetables. They don't have to be small. I just leave them pretty big. You don't have to worry about peeling your carrots or anything like that. A lot of people choose to leave the skin on the onion, but I don't, because I feel like the skin of the onion has an effect on the color of the stock. And I'd rather be able to see what the color of the stock is on its own without any help from the onion peel. And for the garlic, all I do is take the skin off. I don't chop anything off. You can even put it in with the skin on, but I choose not to, again, because I want to gauge the color of the stock. So this isn't even boiling yet. It's very close, but you can already see that foamy stuff at the top. That's all scum that you want to just skim off. So all I do is use a little bit of a ladle, or the whole ladle. Can't get my words straight today. And just gently skim that off the top. One tip I will say is you don't want to go crazy mixing anything when you're making a stock, because you really want to keep it from stirring any impurities in, because all the impurities will naturally rise to the top. And if you're constantly stirring and disrupting the water a lot, it's going to cause it to be cloudy. That's about good for now. We're going to keep skimming it as time goes on, so I'm not going to be too picky about it right now. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and add our onions and our celery, carrots and garlic all into the pot. Now we're going to add just a little bit of salt. I'm also going to use some cracked black pepper. So this is the gentle simmer that you're looking for. You don't want it any higher than that. You don't want it bubbling and all that, and it's just going to mix all the fat into the stock. So what I like to do is put the lid on just like this so that all the steam can escape from the sides. And you want to let this simmer for about 2 hours, because I'm actually going to use the chicken for something else. I don't want to waste it just for using it for the stock. So I'm going to let this simmer for 2 hours, and every 10-15 minutes, you can do 30, every 30 minutes if you want, come back and skim off the fat off the top. And that fat is the little oil deposits that you'll see just floating on the top. You want to skim most of that off. You don't have to get it all out because that's what gives the stock a lot of flavor, and you want to keep some of it in. So 2 hours, and then I'll show you what to do next. So now our chicken should be done. It's gonna probably fall apart when I try to pull it out, so very carefully. You can see, look at it, just falls apart. And that's okay. We're just gonna carefully take this over to a cutting board. I'm gonna get all the pieces out, and you're just gonna wanna allow that to cool so we can tear it apart. So you can see I got quite a lot of meat off that chicken. It was a good amount, and this is the scraps, everything that I didn't wanna actually consume, like in a soup or a stew or any other recipe, I put in this bowl, everything, bones, joints, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna throw it all right back into our pot. So simmering the bones is what's gonna give you that extremely rich chicken flavor. That's why I like to do it this way. So what I'm gonna do is let this simmer for an additional 3 to 4 hours. It's up to you how long you wanna do it. You can do it for 5, 6, 7, 8, however long you wanna do it. It's up to you. So I'll see you in 4 hours. Don't be surprised if I look messed up because I'm taking a nap. So after my stock was done simmering for about 4 hours, I went ahead and drained it through a colander into a large bowl to catch all of that good stock. And then I went the extra step and passed the stock through a fine mesh, and that just catches all the other little pieces that may have been in your stock. So you can do that a few times. You don't have to do it at all. It's really up to you. So this is what the finished product looks like. As you can see, it's a really nice, rich broth. Look at that color. If you're going to store this overnight, that's what I'm gonna do because I'm gonna use it for a recipe tomorrow, there's a very high chance that this will become like a jelly, like you're literally made jello with chicken broth. But that's actually a really good thing. It's a really good sign of a really good, rich chicken broth. If it does become that way, don't worry. Soon as you heat it up, like if you're cooking with it, it's gonna break right down. It's gonna be amazing. So I guess that's all there is to it. If you guys want the recipe, I'll leave all the measurements as well as the written instructions below. And if you like this video, don't forget to smack that like button. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
I'm flying high, but I've got a feeling I'm falling for nobody else but you.